Alright guys, back for day 18, and I'm finally feeling a little bit better. So currently you're looking at a time-lapse of the Martian Ironearth on his base drying. I just thought it would be neat to include that along with the pictures of the final product. But as you saw from the thumbnail, today I painted a Space Marine Outrider. And so I started off by priming him with a sort of light colored lavender-ish purple color. And that'll be the color that his armor ends up being. So from there, I blocked out all the silver details with Iron Warriors. After that, I painted in the tires and the joints of his armor, as well as the bolter cases in Abaddon Black. Then I did a couple little details on his backpack and on the control console of the bike in Grey Knight Steel. I then did his belt in Gore Grunta Fur. I found that Gore Grunta Fur over a light purple, even though it's not necessarily the recommended color for contrast paint, specifically Gore Grunta Fur over it works really well and gives you a nice rich brown color. After that, I did 2 coats of Screaming Skull for his helmet. Following that, I used Retributor armor for the gold detail, which is on his arm and the Aquila on his chest. I then used a combination of Screaming Skull and Blood Angel's Red for the Purity Seal, Screaming Skull for the parchment part, and Blood Angel's Red for the wax part, obviously. I then used Aethermatic Blue for the eyes, or the eye lenses. Then I used Nuln Oil to go over all the silver and the black. It might seem redundant to use Nuln Oil over black, but for me personally, the finish that Abaddon Black dries with is a little too satin for my liking, and I find that Nuln Oil over the top of that just basically flattens it and makes it seem more realistic than this just slightly more matte than I'd like color that it normally dries with. And then that just left the base, which you've already seen. But I did that in Dryad Bark to give a nice brown color under the cracks of the Martian Ironearth. And then, of course, put Martian Ironearth on. Varied my depth or thickness of that so that you get the varying cracks that you see. Some tiny cracks, some little bit bigger cracks, some very big cracks, and then a couple huge cracks. And then painted the base rim Abaddon Black and called it a day. Obviously, you could take this guy a lot farther. Blend on the armor and edge highlight would be the first thing I would do. But this is just a simple tabletop quality. Nothing fancy at all. But maybe I'll take him up to Parade Ready at some point in the future. Either way, thank you everybody for watching, and I will see you tomorrow for day 19.